Good morning, everyone. It is, just waiting a few more minutes to get started here. Hello, Melissa. Good to see you. Thanks for showing up again. Yeah, so if you're watching the replay today, today's broadcast is going to be about a queen lives in a state of abundance. We're going to be talking about how a queen lives in a state of abundance. And this is a mental state, an emotional state, a financial state, relationships, business, all the way around health, right? I'm increasing my sense of abundance by lately I've been doing the 75 Hard program. 75 Hard is all about increasing my, let's call it my self control, my consistency, and my discipline quotient. So I am increasing and abounding in that. And I do two 45-minute workouts a day. It's not as hard as it sounds, though it is, kind of hard. Drinking a gallon of water a day, reading 10 pages in a kind of a personal growth, spiritual self help kind of book. Take a picture of myself, though I don't have to post it. And you got to find some kind of meal plan and stick to it. And the treat of all treats, no alcohol. So I love a good glass of wine. And so that's on hold for 75 days. I think I'm day 34, 35 now. I have to look. What am I? I am day 35. 35. And since I started, I've lost almost 10 pounds, which that was not part of my goal was to lose weight. But as I was doing that, I said, what the heck? I haven't been able to lose weight in years, and I just keep putting it on every year. So I added a meal plan that could help me to lose weight, which anybody wants to know is the metabolic factor, and it's been really good for me. Anyway, so there's that. And so today we're going to talk about, a queen lives in a state of abundance. All right. Um, I have been I've been studying abundance probably since I was 16 years old. Prosperity, positivity, abundance since I was about 16 years old. And we were talking before about how we don't sometimes know what our purpose is, and sometimes we find our purpose through crises, right? And I know that's been true for me. So I want to talk a little bit about that in a bit. So we're going to talk about a queen lives from a state of abundance, no matter the circumstances. Okay, that's really important. Building an abundant state of mind. Um, I did a little bit of reading about the royal family in the UK and how how they've been affected by the pandemic, and how are they reaching out to their to their people, as royalty. And I'll do a little commercial too. Anybody who wants to know something about my Coalition of Queens, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that just for a brief minute or two. But yeah, so we'll start in just a couple minutes. It's 12 o'clock. I was on a little early just to make sure that I had everything squared away. All right. So who else is here? Give me a shout out, please. I see some other people on. Hey, Kathy. Sure, tune in later. Anybody who wants to watch the replay, this is going to be up for a while on my Facebook page. Yeah. Okay. One more minute. Hey, Christina. Good to see you. Glad you persevered. So, about this hair today, it looked better in the mirror than it does on video. But you never know, now do ya? Oh well. It is what it is. I'm here. I'm showing up. I'm showing up, people. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to get started. All right, here we go. So, Queen lives in a state of abundance no matter what the circumstances is our topic for today. And I want to just give a little bit of just an illustration, because a couple of days ago we were talking about how a queen is a woman of purpose and destiny, and got into a discussion about, well, I don't really know what my purpose is, or how do I find out what my purpose is, and what am I passionate about, and how can I even begin to make money with what I love to do if I don't even know what that is, right? So I just want to use my example here as a little bit of a journey that might give you some clues for where you can go in thinking about your own purpose, okay? So as I said, a lot of times it's crises that cause us to be things coming together, things that we've overcome. Eventually, over time, you can start to see the stories in them. You can start to see the work that you have done and how God has like been alongside of you in that pathway, right? So when I was 16 years old, I was really fascinated with the power of positive thinking, with Think and Grow Rich, with how to win friends and influence people. And I babysat a lot, and I had a job by the time I was 15. But between 15 and 16, between babysitting and my job, I studied these books. Part of the reason I studied these books was because right before then, my mom had moved us. We lived in Rochester, New York, Spencerport actually, and she moved us when I was at the end of my 10th grade. And the rest of the family had 6 kids. So she moved 5 of us kids out to California. We went from a custom built home in the suburbs to my grandmother's old house in the middle of downtown LA. All right, so going from the suburbs and a custom built home to the inner city where things would happen to your car every day. You came out and you found the mirror broken or a tire slashed, was a whole different set of circumstances. And my mom took us to and enrolled us in a school that was not in the area we lived in, using an uncle's address. And I went to University High in West Los Angeles. Really nice school, a lot of wealthy kids there. I felt like a podunk from the field, a farmer from the fields. So it was a really interesting time for me. And I can't say it was terribly traumatic at the time. I didn't really understand because I was kind of like responsible for the younger children. And it was just like, do what you got to do, right? So that's what I did. But when we came back, my mom had a revelation that she made a mistake, and we went back home. And our whole house, our beautiful home, was already sold. We had to move into a different home. My dad actually came back to live for a while anyway. They eventually got divorced, but it was a really difficult time as a teenager. And so my anchor was the Bible, Apples of Gold, Power of Positive Thinking, Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends and Influence People. As I said, all those books. And I would take notes, and I'd take those notes and I'd put it in my locker. And every day I'd open, and I didn't even know about affirmations back then. This is in the 60s. And I'd open up my locker door every morning and I'd say the declarations and my affirmations. And that's basically how I got through the rest of high school. Well, those things kind of kept building up, and had a strong faith in God at the time. But eventually, what happened is I became an atheist in college. And despite all the favor I had, I felt like religion was controlling me and I wanted to be a free spirit. And so, therefore, I kind of gave all that up and I became an atheist. Lightning didn't strike me. I had actually very good things happen to me throughout my 20s. And many of you know that I became a teacher and I've been prosecuting attorney, got really an amazing job as a prosecuting attorney right out of law school. Okay. So, but I always, my heart was kind of broken while I was a prosecuting attorney, because really what I wanted my whole life was to help people fulfill their dreams, help people, prosper, because money was a big issue growing up in my household. My parents fought a lot about it, and I think it helped to contribute to the demise of their marriage as well. So I was always looking for these secrets to success. I didn't want to have that kind of life, but I didn't have the stamina, the education, the knowledge in order for me to build a different kind of life than what I grew up with. Well, anyway, um, I had a bad depression, had a major encounter with God. It was amazing. I could tell you about that some other time, but I had a real strong love encounter where my whole body, every cell in my body was taken over by love. And for the very first time in my life, I saw God as nothing but love. And that kind of was instrumental to moving me forward. So, leaving the job, it gave me the courage to leave Cigna and to go, a prosecuting attorney, and go and work for Cigna and start helping people achieve their financial goals. And I learned about investments and tax planning and life insurance and all of those things. So that was my career for quite a while. And eventually I was promoted, transferred to Newport Beach, California, and given a staff position as an attorney and as financial advisor, helping financial planners design their programs for their clients. All right. So even back then, I was designing programs and packages and helping people achieve financial goals. It's always been a desire of mine. I didn't associate that with purpose though. Well, eventually, I started to see that the methods of the world were different than the methods of God when it came to wealth building, when it came to money. And I started studying money, and I became uh, a certified financial coach. All right, counselor. And eventually I left that. I went into business for myself. And then I just had a handful of business owners that I did their financial goals, helping them with their cash flow projections and all of that. After that, I became a stay home mom. All right. Long story there, we'll get into it. But I became a stay home mom, homeschooled my kids, and had a long history for 20 years in various church communities, helping people achieve their financial goals, helping people achieve their marital goals, relationship issues. So I kind of like handled it all, and many churches gave me people. They just kept funneling people to me to help. Now, I did all that for free. And because I did all that for free, when it was time to get out into the marketplace and have a business, I never thought I could do that as a business, right? Because you don't get paid for that. That's a gift, that's ministry work. So, ministry and business, like, they didn't meet. There was like, well, you could do ministry in business. That's true. But I still had a problem charging for my services. Well, then eventually I got over that. God was working on my mindset, and that's a whole nother story there. And I started upgrading my relationship with money. And as I upgraded my relationship with money, as I upgraded my view of myself, as I upgraded my whole idea about my purpose, then lots of things started opening up. The more money I made, the more clients I got, the more my work spread. All right. And so, how do you know? So I was thinking, even like today, coming on this today, and I was thinking, what do I love about doing this? Why am I passionate about doing this? And it isn't just to sell my Coalition of Queens program, okay? That wouldn't be enough for me. I need to be inspiring. I need to be giving free information and resources. I love doing that. I love making the world a better place in the way I know how to do, right? So I started thinking about, well, what do you love about this? I love teaching about abundance. I love elevating people's mindsets about who they are. I love the interaction that we've been having here. So when you start to think about all the things you love, okay, start putting those things together, then you combine that with where you've been, looking at your journey, Okay, looking at your journey, looking at the things you've overcome, the crises you've encountered, and the lessons you learned from those crises, as well as the gifts, you know? So we've got gifts, taking inventory of gifts, taking inventory of the crises and things that you have overcome and what you've learned, and also looking at out of all these things, what do you absolutely love to do? And you know, with those things, you can put together. Yes, you can put together a business that you can prosper from. That's what I love to help people to do. What are those pieces of the puzzle, right? What are those pieces of the puzzle? So it's very, very enjoyable work. And, so while I used to do it for free, the truth of the matter is I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into this work, learning about neuroscience and quantum physics. I already had spirituality and my Bible knowledge down like that, business strategies, the foundations of business, the ways of money. And when you think about when you hire a coach, you're not paying for the hourly fee. You're paying for all the work, effort, and energy that has gone into that person's life to bring you something to a higher state of being. So bring you to a place where you can achieve your dreams and your goals. Okay. So if you're thinking about being a coach or a consultant, you got to be thinking about all those things that have given you value. You are an income producing asset. Okay? Did you ever think yourself that way? An income producing asset? You are an asset. You have invested education, experience, blood, sweat, and tears into your life, skills, developing your skills and developing your gift set. All of that is increasing not the value of who you are to God, but the value of the work that you have to do in this world. Okay? You could never increase the value you have to God, ever. You are as valuable as you're ever going to get. But you can express that value into the world and helping other people and prosper from it by taking inventory, improving your skill set, taking inventory, and becoming a coach, a consultant, a leader, whatever it is you're called to do. All right? It all has enormous value. So, putting that out there right now, okay? So, that's part of the abundance that we have as queens. It's that inner, those, that, all that accumulation that I just talked about, all that accumulation of blood, sweat, tears, lessons learned, money invested into ourselves, education, experience, perspective. That's all part of your abundance. And I dare say that I call that your abundance factor. The combination of all that is your abundance factor. One of the things I do is help people find their abundance factor. What are all the combinations of things that put together? Sometimes it's hard to see it for yourself. So get coaching. Somebody else on the outside who's skilled can help you to see that. All right. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about. Oh, wait. Before you do that, I want to give, if I may, I'm going to give you at the end of this. I'm going to give you some free resources so you can increase your state of abundance. All right. Some free resources, some low cost free resources in case you're not a person that's able to work with me on a higher level. All right. Or a more personalized level. So these things can get you started. They can increase your abundance wherever you are right now. So I will give those resources to you at the end. Okay, so stick around. But let me just please give me a minute to do a little commercial break here for the Coalition of Queens. I want to talk to the woman that is perfect for this program. All right. I don't know if it's you, but this is the woman, and I'm going to actually read it because I don't want to forget anything here. All right. So I want to speak to her, the woman who is ready for my Coalition of Queens program. All right. So you are a queen who has overcome some incredible odds, traumas, and hardships. You've seen things and you have a story or stories to tell, an abundance of love, and a great work to share. I can't stand looking at myself with these glasses. And I'm going to tell you something. Do you know why my glasses, this is awful, my glasses are always down here? Because unlike a lot of you white people, I don't have much of a bridge. So my glasses are always falling down. And so if I got to push them way up here, then it squishes my eyes. All right? That's why that's happening. All right, back to this. So you're a queen who's overcome some incredible odds, and you're ready for seeing things. You have a story and stories to tell. And now you are ready, or you have been ready, to step into a higher state of being, a higher way of thinking, a higher level of manifesting your dreams, financial freedom, and impact. You don't want to keep being that warrior, overcomer, or survivor, right? Yes, you have fought through life, but right now you're kind of done with that. You are ready to reap the rewards of your efforts, your skill and gift development, and invest in yourself. You are ready to transform at the highest level. You're ready to take what you know about abundance and now actually start living it. You're ready to take strategic but divinely inspired action. You're ready for the next 6 months to be the most profitable, inspiring time of your life. That's what this program is, 6 months. Now, there is a substantial investment with the Coalition of Queens or working with me privately in any capacity. But if you think you're ready and I am speaking to you, then please just private message me. All right, we'll take it from there. Thank you. Commercial over. All right. So let's talk about queens living in a state of abundance, whatever is going on. Okay. And let me just make sure I don't have any things here. Hey, Mindy. She says I'm a generous soul and I'm also funny. Yeah. I love humor. I love humor. My family has got an amazing sense of humor. Can be a bit biting in their sarcasm sometimes, but I digress. All right, so here is what abundance is not. First, just very quickly, abundance is not, let's see, where are my notes? Oh, abundance. A queen who lives in a state of abundance does not wallow in self-pity. All right? She doesn't wallow in self-pity, no matter how justified it seems. And she's on the alert for self-pity. She's on the alert from it. And she doesn't allow it. All right, I used to have this rule. Self-pity. All right, self-pity, you can feel it. It's a sinking feeling down in your chest. Has anybody had that sinking feeling down your chest, right? I would allow myself maybe 15 seconds. Once I discovered that I did this and I didn't want to do it anymore, I started training myself to actually start feeling that thing and cut it off at the pass. Now, I'm not saying that I pretended, but I allow myself maybe 15 seconds, 30 max, to have that feeling. But mostly what I ended up doing was journaling about my feelings, as I said before, and giving them to God and asking God for a new frame of mind, another way of thinking about what I was going through. Because here's the clue. Our circumstances are not what is the problem. Our circumstances are not the problem. Our circumstances are what we think about those circumstances, the meaning we're attaching to those circumstances. All right? So, a queen lives in a state of abundance. She doesn't wallow in self-pity, no matter how justified it seems. She doesn't say things. Here's a clue, all right, that you're not expressing yourself as a queen. You might hear yourself say, "Why me? Why does this happen to me? Why does this always happen to me? What's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong?" All right. Those of you who know me well know that I won't let you get away with the why me? Why is this always happening to me? Right? That's a mindset, and that can be changed. You can start to say, of course, because sometimes the of course energy we are talking about yesterday, it's of course this is going to happen to me, right? Rather than of course good things happen to me. So, what's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? If this is a psychocybernetic loop that you play over and over again here, or let's say good things start to happen to you, but you're still not trained out of that mindset yet. All right. Good things happen to you. You're kind of happy for it, but then you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. If that is you, then it is time for you to take seriously learning how to reign and rule over your thoughts, over your words. Yes, over your thoughts, over your words, and how you see your life. It's time. Okay? Unless you want to stay in that state. If you want to stay in that state, have at it. But if you're tired of being in that state and you picked at, reading a book here, doing a little program there, doing a few mantras, doing some meditations, all of that, but you haven't taken seriously this, the learning, figuring out how it is that you actually rule and reign over your thoughts, over your being, over your life, right? It's time. Do it. Decide. Decide, I'm doing this. Once you decide, oftentimes what happens, something comes into your pathway, a person, a support, something to help you. All right? But you have to first decide. Later, like I said, I'm going to give you a free tool that can help you. I'm going to give you another idea, low cost idea. Some of you may want to work with me. All right, there is that. Now, while I was thinking about this, a question came to me. And it was really, I don't know why I thought of this. I think it was just one of those things that God puts in my mind. But how is the royal family, the Queen of England and her family, how are they handling this pandemic? Right? They're faced with lockdown too. They're faced with economic uncertainty and negative things happening, things shutting down. They're faced with those things. And, so I looked it up. And we have to remember that the royal family is used to many crises over the years, many crises. But how do they handle the crises when they're used to uniting the nation by being out there, by making their public engagements, their visits around the country, doing all of that when they can't do that, right? Well, here's the cool thing. When you think like royalty, you and you have this desire to serve. You have a duty and an obligation to be there, for your people, all right? You find a way. Would video conferencing work for them? That's not the way that people have before. They show up, people they clamor, they love their queen, right? 94 years old. She can't go out and do anything, as we know, right? So the question was, when lockdown began, it was hard to see in isolation the royal family, how they could unite the nation as it had previously done in times of crisis. And in fact, the prince had tested positive for COVID. I had forgotten that. And so he and the duchess self isolated, and so as did the queen and the duke of Edinburgh, both of them being in their 90s, right? The institution had already been rocked by the departure of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and the Duke of York stepping back, yet each day The death toll was rising and the nation needed reassurance. And within a week, Prince Charles, who suffered only mild symptoms of the virus, was able to release a video describing his strange, frustrating, and often distressing experience. And the video was recorded at his home. Perhaps it was the setting, the crammed bookshelves, the family photo, the teddy bear on the mantelpiece, or the heartfelt personal delivery. But it felt intimate and set the tone for how the royal family would go on to communicate with the nation during lockdown. Well, after he did that, then the Queen got on too. And it was estimated that 24 million people tuned in, right? 24 million people. And in that time, she reassured them and said, "We will be with our friends again. We will be with our families again, and we will meet again. We will meet again." The royal family, like every other family, and so many families, had been separated as well during this time. And so, how was it that they were going to band together? And how were they going to serve their nation? So, the point I want to make about this is when you have the of course, energy, abundance is your state of being, internally, externally, as it is for the royal family. Their primary thoughts are for others. Their primary thoughts or primary concern is for the people that they serve. And they take that seriously. Do we take seriously also? Sometimes we take too seriously the serving other people, but it's not coming from a state of abundance. Sometimes it's coming from a state of obligation. Sometimes it's coming from a state of just uh, if we don't, then people are going to be mad at us. If we don't, we're going to get rejected. It's coming from a state of fear and lack and scarcity. So, coming to that state of abundance includes purpose, includes having the right mindset, includes having the financial wherewithal to be able to serve, right? That's why I'm talking about all this, because we are women of substance, of purpose, of destiny. That's why I think you're here watching this. So we have to also be open and be trained in principles of abundance, of tapping in, carte blanche. Yesterday we talked about this, carte blanche access to the unlimited resources of God, learning how to do that, right? So I have a testimony I want to read to you from somebody who, a woman that sent me an email, text message um, this morning. Okay. But first, let me just look at some of these. Commit to the Queen mindset, Jen says. Yes, thank you, Jen. Yeah. Christy, I'm getting pretty good at acknowledging and handing to God and moving forward. Yes, you are. You've grown in leaps and bounds. It's been amazing. Okay. All right. So I think I've said hi to those of you who have made yourself known. Yeah, so I'm not going to read all of it's pretty lengthy and it's beautiful what she sent to me, but I want to give you an illustration, of someone who decided to take some of what we're talking about here seriously. Okay. Now, she messaged me at the end of August. It's somebody I've known off and on for a number of years, and she's gone through a lot of hardships, devastating divorce, suicidal intentions. I'm not sure if she actually acted on that, right? Um, and through this pandemic, she lost her job. She was furloughed. She didn't really lose it, but she was furloughed and she had to go on unemployment, had barely enough income, no savings, and bills were piling up for her. And she was miserable and nearly hopeless. So she contacted me and she said at the end of August, I messaged Marianne because she's one of only a few people I trust to speak into my life. I had just been offered my dream job, the one I know God put in my heart as a child, but I was too scared to make the leap. And my only thoughts were worrying about money. This dream had come and gone many times throughout my lifetime, but it always seemed like something stood in the way. And looking back, I see that something was me. So Marianne shared her story with me, and it was really the story I shared with her was, the meltdown I came to when we had no money. My husband had cancer, my business was falling apart, and I was on the brink of despair. Actually, I wasn't the brink of despair, I was on just in despair, you know. And I shared with her how God had said to me, um, get back to love, Marianne. And getting back to love meant journaling. And I mentioned this already, but I shared that with her, journaling. And so she gave me a journaling exercise to do. This is gold I'm giving you, and it's free. Right now, it's free to you. Oops. Sorry. Yeah. So she gave me a journaling exercise. I got right at it, praying God would recall to my mind every good thing He's done for me. Every time He's given me strength to reach beyond myself, every time I accomplished something that I was proud of. It wasn't easy. And you have to remember when you're in a state of despair, you're in a state of maybe self pity, it is hard to think about the good that's happened in your life. I know that. I know that to be true. And if God had not verbally shaken me out of my sleep and tell me to do this, I probably never would have done it. Somebody had said to me to do it. So I applaud her because she took the bull by the horns and she actually did this. But as I did, more and more I could feel the joy and love and best of all, peace returning to my soul. Well, right after that, my workplace called a few days later and left a message letting me know they were recalling me back to work. When HR and I finally connected, I asked if I could come back to work a week later. This new job I initially was offered was as a horseback riding instructor with a few classes a week. And that's why it was difficult for her, financially, because it was only a few classes a week. So she was struck with, do I go back and get this job, which is guaranteed income, or do I follow my dream, which right now it's only a few classes a week and really not enough, and her unemployment was running out, is not enough for me to support myself. So after she did this exercise, right, she was full of joy, peace, abundance. And so she actually quit her job and decided to go all in with the horse farm, the stables. So God didn't just stop there with a few classes a week. Nope. This king of ours made me a queen. Yes, I walked into that farm as a servant, but I walked out with the keys to the kingdom. He went above and beyond my dream and showed me that I was created for even more than I could imagine. I am now in charge of 5 classes a week so far. I have been given 5 free reign, listen to that, free reign to schedule my own private lessons during the day, and all the money will go to me. I've been put in charge of special events. And best of all, she's been given the freedom to implement and direct a therapeutic horse program for trauma survivors and PTSD veterans. I've been asked to speak at a fundraising event in 2 weeks on the benefits of equine therapy. And all these events happened within 2 weeks of messaging Marianne. Every day, something new is happening. I've stepped into the destiny that God planned for me since my very beginning. And there is such joy and love having reached this place, an energy and vibration I have never felt before. It's as though my life force is being completely overhauled. I am overwhelmed and exhausted, and I cry at the drop of a hat, but in a good way. This is largely how God created me, and it has taken me years to accept it and to know when self care is needed. Okay? If there's one takeaway I hope that you get from this piece of my life I've just shared with you, don't be afraid to dream big. And when God takes you to your dream and goes above and beyond what you could imagine, go with his flow. He will equip you for all he has for you. Rain on. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? Yes. Also, just as a side note for anybody who's interested, she will happily accept any donations that you want to make to the equine therapy program or the therapeutic day camp program that they're running for school age children affected by the pandemic. Okay, just, you know, put a note in the comments if you are interested in learning more about that. Okay, so awesome, right? Not just me. Yes, Christina, it's Teresa. It is Teresa. Yes, and you know her. All right, a second. Step out in faith. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Ada. All right. Isn't that awesome? I was so thrilled, so happy for her. Um, Somebody we used to go to church with years ago. You know, the other thing is this. I don't talk that much about my clients, but I have amazing clients. They have dreams, they have desires, they've been stuck, they've been frustrating, they're smart, frustrated, they've been stuck. They have been people who have poured a lot of time, energy, money, and effort into themselves, into their purpose, into the calling God's given to them, right? And they don't stop. And with that kind of um, motivation and inspiration from God, when you put it together with the strategies that we work together and the daily and weekly accountability, they are more than doubling their income. And it's done in a state of love, a state of love, elegance, and grace. So all this is possible for you. All of it's possible for you. All right. So, yes, a perfect blend of professional skills, life history. Yes, God uses everything. Everything. Amen. Hallelujah. Preach it, sister. Okay. Anybody else have any other comments, questions before I go? Tomorrow, I don't know what we're doing tomorrow, but I'm going to be here again, same time, same place. And tomorrow may be the last one. I don't know. I'm still waiting on the Lord for that, to tell you the truth. I'll let you know tomorrow. All right? So have a great day, everybody. Just stay in love. Stay in love. Stay in the energy of being a queen. Rise up. Get fully expressed. You're beautiful. You're here for a reason. Adios. Love ya. Bye.